Anthony Edwards, bro. We have to figure out how we can, because we talked about this a couple of times on the show, D-Lo, where the younger generation is lacking a lot of guidance and a lot in certain areas from generations like ours and generations before us. So Anthony Edwards is in the news because of some text messages that surfaced, and we're going to talk about that too. Some text messages that surfaced from a side chick of his, an Instagram model that he was dealing with on the side of his, I don't know if they're married or his fiance or girlfriend that is also about to bear a child. But some text messages surfaced about her getting a, can I say that word on YouTube? Or terminating a pregnancy, and him saying some very disparaging things or some very denigrating things to his character through these text messages. And it got to a point where they say, allegedly, he offered her $100,000 to go through with the termination of the pregnancy. D-Lo, is there a lack of guidance for younger athletes these days, especially the ones who are that are playing professional sports and are getting these huge contracts? Should there be more guidance for these guys, bro?
I don't know if I'll go as far as to say there should be more guidance when we talk about these isolated events and like few and far events that occur in sports with the young stars of the league. Because if you think about it, realistically, we've only talked about Ja, not just us, but in general, Ja and his situation with the guns. We've talked about Zion and his situation with
Mariah
Mills, and now we're talking about Anthony Edwards.
But you can also look at PJ Washington and the situation with Shorty too, and going through that whole situation as well. Like you can talk. Yeah.
But what else other than those four? Because I forgot about PJ. I should have. He's right here.
Yeah.
Other than those four, that's a
small sample size,
but that's a small percentage of the actual young players in the league. So guidance is realistically guidance. If we're basing it off of those individuals, yeah, they need more guidance. But in the grand scheme of things, I think players are handling their success relatively well. Now you do, as we see, you do have the one-off situations. You do have the one-off situations where you have these instances, but for the most part, you don't see that.
Yeah, I mean, but I guess so, because it's one of those things where you have to. There has to be somebody that is in their ear, like, bro, you have an amazing situation. You've got this huge contract. You are playing very, very well. Just try to figure out a way to stay out of trouble. That's all that you have a good woman at home. She's about to have a child. You don't need to be messing with these IG models out here, bro. Like there's gotta be like a vet or somebody that can say, look, bro, like just calm down, chill. You got a good situation here, bro. You playing great. Like I understand that you're young and you know what I'm saying, you have your needs and your wants and you do things, you know what I'm saying? Because I can't sit here and act like whenever I was in Miami, I ain't go crazy. So I can't sit here and say that. But at the same time, it's like I actually had people there that was like, hey young brother, slow down. Like, or these people, or the coaching staff is going to notice that you out here wilding, and they probably going to get you up out of here. And that's exactly what the hell happened. You know what I'm saying? Ted Ginn Sr. came to me and said, bro, this ain't the environment for you. You can't handle this. So we're going to have to let you go. And they sent my ass home. So this is, and I wasn't a draft pick. I wasn't a $200 million man like Anthony Edwards. But at the same time, it's like, you got to have somebody to sit here and tell you, like, bro, you wildin', dog. You wildin'. Like you got to chill out. Like we gonna need you around. You playing very well. You're a great asset to this organization. Like we need you. So you got to figure out a way to chill out. And I was talking to a couple of my gamer homies, and I was talking to my lady about it. Like, I want to start some kind of like consultation business like that. I can bring in these younger athletes and try to tell them, like, take it from me. You gotta be able to either to manage your money and manage your hormones, because if you don't, you're gonna be in some problems. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how I would start that or what even the premise of it would be, but it's just me talking like, damn, if I had this kind of guidance whenever I was coming up and when I was going into the league, I would have probably still been there. But I didn't. You know what I'm saying? And I think this is something that we can that us and our generation and the one before us can offer these guys, but who knows how we would start it. The next thing I wanted to talk about too was everything don't have to be public. Everything don't have to be public. This is a private conversation that, to be perfectly honest, was he in the wrong? Yes. What he said was wrong. But nobody would have known if she didn't post all this shit on social media. Nobody would have known. They could have got through this amicably. And of course, some of the things he said was fucked up in the text messages, but this didn't have to be public. Like, why does everything have to be public? Why do you have to leverage something that somebody says to you to the public eye to make your situation seem better? Like, which it's just so stupid to me. If it was me or you, which this would never happen, ladies, don't trip. But if this was me and you, this would have never been public. But since it's Anthony Edwards, who just signed a $200+ million contract, now this shit goes public. Like, why? Why? It's his fault that he's in the situation. But why did you have to post these text messages on the internet? Like, it just don't make any fucking sense. Like, keep your public problems to yourself.
Yeah. I hate the internet age or the social media age that we live in right now.
I swear, bro.
It seems like this stuff always finds the light on social media. It's like people run to that as their comfort or their consultation. Their consoling is what they run to.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what he texted me. You know, they're trying to get some validity,
some kind of attention.
In what attention in what they're using. If I wanted all of this to be public, I would have went to your Instagram page and wrote a message underneath one of your pictures to let everybody know, hey, talking to you. But obviously I didn't. I sent you a text message so that we could try to handle this on our own, in private. And then if we can't handle it privately and it has to go through mediation, all that stuff, and it gets public that way, fine. But for you to take this route, to go online, to show everything that I said to you, was I wrong? Yes, I was wrong. I shouldn't have talked to you in that manner, especially when we both interacted, engaging in that activity. This was the result of that. I shouldn't have talked to you that. I shouldn't have talked to you like that. But for you to share private conversations with your million followers, and then now it's blown up out of magnitude, is really crazy. So I really hate the fact that everything has to be played out on social media,
right,
in order for it to have some validity. As far as Anthony Edwards, this shit happens every day to regular Joes like you and me, and nobody bats an eye with it.
Nope.
Right? It just okay. Just cost of doing business. But because it's Anthony Edwards, because he's an NBA player, because he just signed a contract in July for $217, potentially $260 million, we have to give our attention to this. And we spend too much time focusing on what celebrities do and not enough time on what we can do to get into similar situations as they are. Obviously, the percentages aren't in our favor most times to make that type of money, but we can always strive to do that. And so I find it hard to pay a lot of attention to this. Now, you and I, we do a podcast. This is the stuff that we talk about on a given basis, and we have to give attention to it. But the reason it's blown out of proportion is because obviously others outside of the media, the average Joe, is talking about this because of who he is. And so is it fair? In all honesty, no. But because of who he is, because of the status that he holds in the grand scheme of things, is always talked about. But this shit happens all the time. Like, we know some homies that have had these conversations with females, and maybe they can't pay them $100,000 to get rid of it.
Right.
And we're not saying that we are for or against that type of activity as well, but it happens all the time. We give it too much attention, blow stuff up when it really doesn't need to be blown up.
I agree, bro. And I don't know if you heard what Stephen A. Smith said on his show when in regards to this, but
Mm-mm.
he went on his show and was like, when does this become a breach of privacy situation? And I'm not talking about it just because he's a man or because he's an athlete, but men and women do this. They go and they post conversations on social media so they can get some kind of attention or some kind of, somebody to be on their side and get some kind of care for, to have somebody else care about what they're going through. So it's not just, it's men and women too. So when does it become a breach of privacy? Because this did not have to be public.
Right.
It did not have to be public. Like I understand that you're an IG model. You got 1 million followers. Your life is on social media. I get that. But this is a private conversation between you and the man trying to figure out how y'all gonna handle this very, very private situation. And yes, some of the things that he said to you were fucked up. I get that. He came out and apologized for him. He said that the comments in the heat of the moment are not me. They're not aligned with what I believe and who I want to be as a man. He came out and apologized for a lot of the things that he said to you.
That's PR, but
it is agreed. But he put the statement out there. He didn't delete it like the baby did, but we're not gonna get into that. But you didn't have to post this shit. You didn't. Nobody does. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, but she didn't have to post it, and he didn't. All of this would have been solved if he didn't even do the shit. Personally, he in the wrong 100%. This is his fault. He got himself in this situation. But in this situation, keep that private matter private. And that's what I say all the time. Like, social media will fuck up your relationships and fuck up your life if you don't keep your private life private. Post what you want people to see, but everything doesn't have to be made. Every problem you're going through doesn't have to be made public. That's my point. I'm sorry. I went off.
I think that's the transparency thing that we try to live in. We're a very conflicted being right now when it comes to how to live life and social media and all that, because on one end of the spectrum we're saying that it's unfair that these apps and these different companies, corporations can invade our privacy and see stuff. On the other hand, we freely give this information up all the time. So, like,
truth,
make your mind up. Do you want to be transparent and just nothing is private, or do you want privacy? Because if you want one or the other, then when the opposite happens, don't be upset. Or when it doesn't happen, don't be upset.
Facts, man. So hopefully, all of this goes the right way. And he's still playing. He hasn't been suspended. He's still playing well for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and everything is still going good. Hopefully I'm pretty sure it did impact.
I would ask a question. Life. Why should he be suspended for that?
No. I mean, I don't think he should be, but it's a situation where conduct detrimental to the team type shit. Like, I don't know. I just put that out there. Just say he's still playing. He's still playing well, but I'm pretty sure this put a damper on his personal life with his now current girlfriend, fiance, whatever she is to him, that is also bearing child. So and again,
he said he didn't want kids.
He said in the text message that he don't want kids, but he's having one current. He's about to have one currently with his actual girlfriend. So that's just to say that she was a side chick, which is fucked up. So
she knew. She probably knew.
Of course she did, and that's why she put it out. But I'm not going. That's a conversation for another day. Oh, you still here? So that must mean you enjoy the content then. And if that is the case, go ahead and click on this video right here. We think you're gonna love this one as well. And we're almost make this a Merry Christmas for me and D-Lo. We're almost to 500 subscribers. So hit that button on the screen right here as well. And we're on all your streaming platforms, wherever you find your podcast.